The spirit of the prediction, we make our predictions before we know the vetoes. We both said Party Astronauts. I still think they can win Dust 2. It is going to take a monumental effort from them, and they are going to need Fang to step up. He cannot be their bottom frag throughout the game on Dust 2. If the Party Astronauts want to have success, as they will start on the T side now. A kit for CJ, dual Berettas, for George. P250 raid boss for Wolfie. Ben has a smoke and a flash. And the mid-peak yields nothing. A flash for Rush and Junior to peek off of. We'll actually see Junior hit the deck first. And Party Astronauts have some space to exploit up through middle because of that kill.
Yes, they do. Party Astronauts need to start things off strong on this map. They have a sub 40% win rate on the CT side. I'm expecting 8 or 9 as a minimum for them, and the pistol will be a good way to start things off. Good opening security, as you mentioned. Junior taken down is a big name to fell. They have cat control as well, although lots of map control being taken by Nouns in the interim. They have tunnels control. They're now pushing middle, and Rush jumping up blindsides that one splitting player in Infinite. Party Astronauts are going to race up long now, but they're going to have a lot of contention from both Cat and CT. CJ through the smoke drops Ben late, and George at range beheads Sigsy with the dualies. Players both on ramp, not long for this world. George again finding one on the dualies, and Rush cementing the round for Nouns. A good response from them in spite of losing the opening duel.
Yeah, they lost the opener, but that was all they really lost. A great read and a great kill onto Infinite, trying to go for that cat split. Party Astronauts just a little lagging on their take too much time, and they're punished for it. Now it's going to be MP9s and FAMASs for Nouns. They'll cross through that smoke, no spot for Wolfie. And it's just Glocks and P250 anyways, so what really can you expect to happen? Nade should do some chunky damage, and we'll actually get 1 kill, 2 for Junior, as he'll grab a 3rd and a 4th. Aced out for Junior. And let's keep an eye on whether or not he gets the cycle here, as he's already got a 5k. The ace, they're converted. Anti-eco MP9, 1 with a nade. That's a good amount of money. And for Nouns, a nice start, up to nothing.
Almost as smooth as their start on the first best of one of the night. If you recall, that was, 3 rounds in a row that were all flawless. Not the same case now. Junior fell in round 1. But he makes up for his little economic losses with aided ace. 4 of those kills on the MP9, as you mentioned. Very smooth sailing in the early goings for Nouns, but bonus is where they're going to be tested. 2 FAMASs and 3 MP9s are going to struggle at range on this map, so they'll play to their strengths in towards tunnels, namely, Rush drops Fang early, big kill to find. Party Astronauts will race out long in response. And as they inch closer, the weapons are going to become more and more deadly. Carson on site gets 1.5 tag onto Wolfie. Infinite on the ramp, belabored spray takes some good damage, but we're back to even footing at the very least. 3 versus 3. Now he's kind of stalled. Infinite's looking for more peaks, for more information. He does good damage, but also receives a lot in kind. Sigsy finds 1, but Junior and CJ find 2 in response. Infinite on the ramp was already low, and he's caught at range by the AK of CJ the King. It's not a clean bonus, but they win it nonetheless and pick up AKs for their troubles.
Yeah, 8Ks for their troubles. It was a bonus round, too, with a couple of MP9s, so you have to keep that into account as well. It was full AKs for the Party Astronauts, and their full AK round falls flat. So far, so good for the CT side of Nouns on Dust 2. And their CT side at 55%, their T's at 54.2, so very even for the Nouns across both sides of the map. And as you said, for Party Astronauts, given their weaker CT side on this map, you have to get a good amount of a lead, a buffer, if you will, on this T side. And so far, they have not accomplished that. At 8-4, probably their worst case scenario. But here's the thing, Nate. 8-4 might not even be good enough. And it might even be almost impossible to gain at this point because it would have to be 8 in a row.
Be virtually 8 in a row unless this pistol has something to say about it. Contact out B. Good flash to blind Carson, and the Glock will do him in. Big kill to find. George in window tries to spam away for a trade, but this flank from middle is very timely. George and Junior, though, find the kills nonetheless. Bomb plant going to go down. That pair of kills should cement Nouns' retake going forward. Only 3 players remaining and all on site. 6C does at least have an upgraded weapon to work with. He's been tagged low down to 48. Nouns, though, yet to make their entry into the site, and the bomb timer is ticking away. Molotov towards the box. 60 posted up, though, finds damage and one, as does Infinite, but Junior, George, and CJ find a kill apiece in the retake. And the Nouns continue their stomp 4-0, although another expensive round for them, which gives Party Astronauts some extra cash in round 5.
The extra cash is nice. It'll get an op-out for Wolfie, but Party Astronauts need to start putting rounds on the board here. They can't just sit here and get close, but not ever gain the cigar. They need to find victories. They need to find them soon and consistently. And Junior's op will peek into suicide and maybe even go... Oh, he's got a player in lower 10, so he doesn't even need to watch that. George is there. Junior will actually lose that fight against 60. That's a very rough fight to lose. And they're expecting somebody here in lower tunnels. Fang's watching for somebody to push. Rush tries to flash himself in, and 60 just drive-bys him. CJ's there for a trade, but it's 2 for 1. Fang, if he doesn't clear this right, oh, he crouches, and that gives up the angle. George gets a free kill, and levels this at 3v3. If Fang doesn't crouch, he probably has that kill, as he has the advantage on the peak. But things now become possible for Nouns again. A bit of a gift given over.
Bit of a gift. Junior is getting overly audacious, that's for sure. CJ scaling up Catwalk to try and stop this long press. Looking for 1 and maybe even 2 on the lineup. He finds them both. The last alive is Wolfie on the op, and again, his flick cannot connect. Op going to be recovered, along with 2 AKs at 4 Nouns. They continue their tear. They are a far more balanced team on this map as well. If I'm not mistaken, let's take a look for Dust2. 55.0 win rating on the CT side, 54.2 on the T. A 5-0 start against their opponents definitely bodes well going forward. Wolfie on a Galil, 4 AK surrounding. Cody isn't the best, and we have yet to see a tactical timeout from Party Astronauts either. It's a little bit worrisome.
Well, Junior tries to take another op shot, but he gets drive-byed by Infinite. His op is struggling to find consistent success. However, his team's rifles have done enough to keep them ahead, up by 5 now. Party Astronauts still sitting on a goose egg, which has not hatched. Not a good sign for them. Mid is in play here as the T's get ready to go. 3 bottom middle, including the bomb. Could go for a cat run. Wolfie hoping somebody peeks into him, pushing through into T-spawn out long doors. Carson on the other side of that. Infinite able to escape up. Nade does a decent amount. Flames to follow it up as well. Time killing in effect by Nouns. As again, they are down a man. Oh, there's an extra incendiary to be used to buy more time or do more damage. Carson expects somebody out long too, but he's not pushing through. It's a wise decision. And through the smoke, they'll train. CJ tucking into Goose. We'll try to cook. Party Astronauts, but 60 is right there. And Carson's spray also fails to find anything. Looks like Party Astronauts will finally get something on the board as nothing connects for Nouns. And Party Astronauts take 3 1-for-1 duels and win them all.
Finally something going their way. 6C catches Rush trying to exit. George is on B. He picked up his fallen comrade's op. Party Astronauts seem pretty keen on hunting this down. 6C at the spear point. George will pass the first test. Now there's many more bearing down on his position. He might even contemplate throwing this op out. I'm being completely honest. Jumping up window. Will he make it in time? No is the answer. He's going to have it blindsided. Ben Leet, the IGL, at the helm. And Party Astronauts on the board. Nouns, in spite of winning 5 in a row, their economy's not too great. Junior will get dropped over and op. He drops a rifle on the ground. Rush as well, getting off a Moss, less than ideal. George might even go for an MP9. Nope, an M4 in hand. Infinite should have an AK. There it is. Both Oppers struggling to open things up early. Majority of, I think all of Junior's kills coming on anything other than the Opp. And pressuring long, CJ and Rush are caught early. George, to support the third man behind, finds two in response, at least tying us up, but he needs to get away now. Be happy with the even footing in spite of the early losses. 3 versus 3 very early into the round.
He does get that extra kill and gets out alive, though, and he has information on the Op being long as well. Will George expect Ben here, though? He will not. And so the in-game leader traded 1 for 1. There's Junior's Op opener, as he will retreat up catwalk and look to play a retake, it seems. Taking a bit of an advanced angle, will spot the bomb and hit the wall, being shot onto 62. That's a quick flick as Carson's on the fast flank from behind. Bides his time on the trigger, spots the Op of Wolfie, but Junior has swapped off to the AK and does not collect the first kill he needs. Prime opportunity with this hold. 2 1-for-1 trade Junior. But it all really comes down to timing. He gets one, but not the second. 6E able to capitalize on the angle, on Junior moving. And so Party Astronauts will strike for 2 in a row, and the money for Nouns has now officially been shattered. They'll buy nothing into this round, maybe an upgraded pistol for Junior or George, but I suspect one of those two, if not both, will save towards an op into the next round. Party Astronauts will have a third for free and a third in a row. Nouns will look to regroup in round number 9. The money for the T side can now begin to grow considerably too if they don't lose too many players on this long scrum, which realistically they shouldn't. But they lose one initially and maybe a chance for a second here as it's a messy spray from Infinite. George actually double-digs Fang, so Infinite's now having to fight for his life. Wolfie's trying to help out and will win the fight against Junior, and he'll win the last 2 as well. But a bit more expensive than they would have liked for the Party Astronauts. And Nouns will be back on the buy. George can drop over an op. I don't think he will, though. It's going to be rifles and rifles only for Nouns.
I respect the call. Junior's been struggling on the op. He's looked quite hot on the rifle as well. It gives him more freedom. Pressure Cat, for example. Party Astronauts, though, wind in their sails 3 in a row. Wasn't the cleanest anti-eco, but they still keep 3 up. That slowly builds that T economy. And the spot for Wolfie in middle. A big opening kill to find. Everything's going the way of Party Astronauts in the early goings of these rounds. 6E finds one towards long as well before being traded. Advantage maintained. Junior trying to duel in middle. Belabored spray only good for 1. The trades are quick from the Party Astronauts. George and CJ versus 3. This B site falls, that should be curtains, especially with that kill from Wolfie's op. CJ falling back towards A site. And a 4th in a row for the Party Astronauts.
4 in a row and a chance to actually lead going into the second half as well, which would be very good for Party Astronauts, as they desperately need to get back into some sort of winning form. But Nouns can always bring it back as well. This round probably, or this next round I should say, probably not going to be the one to get them back. But it seems that Wolfie has heated up at the right time. Same with 6E. And Party Astronauts individuals, after having another slow start, are coming alive again. But that statistic about their CT side, Nate. Sub 40%. By 0.3 of a percentage point, sure, but the point still stands. 39.7% is far from ideal. On the defense.
Ideal, especially with the recent changes being made in an effort to make it a more defensively catered to map. That jump up catwalk is a massive upgrade to it. Nouns scrapping together what they can around that AK. Scout for Junior could actually do something as well. He's been a menace with that gun throughout ECL. Double up and a press in towards B, though. There are 3 players here. Are they holding? Not for the first. Infinite trades. Okay, Infinite doubles down. It looks scary for a second, but the fact that he finds them both should seal this one because it drops that hero rifle on the ground. Junior, his scout holding top middle. Meanwhile, the entirety of B has fallen. Bomb plant guaranteed at this stage. Junior and Rush probably smart to save. George can get a rifle, that would be great, but the lack of Kevlar that he's going to go for something.
George could have taken a shot. He'll wait till he spots out 60, but he'll find 2 instead. It's Rush to trade out, Danny. Leaving Rush in the 1 versus 3, 1 versus 2 with an AK in hand. He has some time, but no kit to work with, so his time is sorely running out. Although Wolfie's all the way top middle, so Rush doesn't realize how much time he actually has. He could take out Fang and win the round, but it's going to be a tie ball game here going into the last 2 rounds of this half. And no AK save over either, as Wolfie will have a free pick towards bottom mid. The buy will be there for Nouns. He'll have the op for Junior and a little bit of utility behind that too. But it's becoming a little bit closer than it should have, considering Nouns' fast 5-0 start. Party Astronauts answer that back with 5 in a row of their own. That will force Nouns to call a timeout of their own to discuss what's gone wrong. And one thing that's been nice to see is both teams using their timeouts. And I think we should expect that at this point out of these 2 rosters, but it's still nice to see.
It's good to see these teams are finally realizing strength timeout can bring. Party Astronauts and Nouns both known to use them pretty well. Actually, at times Nouns in the past would not use them whatsoever. Looks like they're coming around to that. I think maybe the change in coaching staff also helped there. Junior. Op in hand. His op has been more or less flat, though. Most, if not all, of his kills have been from rifles and pistols and SMGs. I think he has 1 op kill total.
2.
Still not a lot. Not for Dust2, not for CT side. He's going to go towards Catwalk. He's going to support Rush lower. And actually, George is going to be doubled up on Catwalk. That's a big opening to find. We haven't seen one of those in a minute for the favor of Nouns. Ben Leet will trade, but it's still a 4 versus 2 as the dust settles. Fang and Ben Leet, final pair. Ben Leet will jump up to try and recover the bomb. Fang is in tunnels, holding for some aggression, which will not come through from Nouns.
And that's why. Another free pick. They have the advantage. They don't need to push. They can just wait. And Junior can cook. He'll do a wallbang shot onto Fang. Knows he hit that, but loses the fight. Tries to go for the headshot. And the op is down in bottom middle. Now it can get a little costly for Nouns as they try to close out this half of the lead. Fang engaging behind the smoke. Maybe, maybe not. Will he, won't he? That's the game right now. Will he push, won't he push? Right now, seems that he will. Carson up on top. Removed. Expensive again now for Nouns. And the bomb plant could come through if George is not in time to stop this plant. He'll win the fight, though, go back for the op. And so all is well that ends well for Nouns. But way too costly for them, realistically speaking, as we get into the last round of the half.
Expensive. I have to make some compromises in the last round of this first half. They at least have a tied ball game heading into the second. Rush probably going to go for an M4, maybe FAMAS. Nope, there's the M4. George, what will he go for? An MP9? Nope, FAMAS instead. Up for Junior, to mention, picked up. And Wolfie spots CJ on the cross with the smoke and the wall and the dome. CJ will fall. Big opening for Wolfie's op. It's been quite solid towards middle. And 60. Just be careful at long. Naded and mollied it down to 8. Junior fumbling with his nades. Won't throw one in time. And Carson will fall because of it. No support from the opper. Junior races away to try and set up to hold off against this take. He's going to need some extra support from his remaining teammates.
All 5 out long for Party Astronauts. Junior has a lot of work ahead of him. He's been good these past 2 nights, but he needs to be great now. Another smoke blooms to wall off CT's angle. The rush has got Cat. Nade for the smoke. Sees nothing. As Party Astronauts take their time as they meander up long. George will also join the party on Catwalk. All three Nouns players in the same vicinity. Hop shot from Junior through, doesn't connect. Molotov to go through. Rush is on site now as Molotovs fly on in. Rush is forced to peek, and he takes down a pair before going down, making this viable. 60's on the cat flank, though, and he is not expected at all. Junior now going back to check his 6. Doesn't matter. Good headshot from Danny, leaving George in a 1 versus 3. Singed and revealed. Big start, knows one's behind him, wins the second, knows exactly where 60 is. The bomb is not planted, actually, so George has all the time in the world. He has to wait for Danny to make a play now, who's rotated all the way out long. It's going to come down to timing as George is expecting the cat play. 60 walks up long. Will George expect cat? He's safe from now, from long. Now he knows what's happening. Spots out 60, but can't get the kill. 5 seconds to go. 60 has to stick it. George drops down, makes all the noise. Danny's off the bomb, and George finishes it off. Nouns escape with a 7-5 lead into the halftime break. We're back in action. Both teams had 5-round streaks, but Nouns closed out the half with 2 in a row to take the lead into the second here on Dust2. I'm Boggs. I'm joined by Pineapple Phillips. And this is Party Astronauts versus Nouns. Party Astronauts on their defensive, which is not their favored side on this map, much akin to Mirage. They do have a P250 rated boss and Carson the Nouns, and no upgraded pistols for Party Astronauts. A kit for Ben, double flashes as well. Infinite has been spotted, but he does take down one before falling eventually at Car. Fang spotted up at barrels as well, but Nouns did not need to commit to this. They can back away. Lots of time on the clock here. And just try and maybe bait out a peek. That's a nice fight from Junior. And so Nouns now Man advantage, ace site technically open, although Ben is watching from elbow, now moving closer and closer. Nouns will have to make a move soon enough, though, as they are pretty much full committing into this A-site take. They are locking themselves in, running up, and trying to take these long-range duels, losing to the catwalk fights as Sixy and Wolfie add a couple of kills and take the man advantage. The bomb's still not on the site either, although I think they're going to get it down right now. CJ crouching through, but Wolfie's on the flank, and is he watched for? Depends on the round.
Timing's everything. He is being fought. Junior has that P250 Super Soldier setup, but he falls, and Sixy catches CJ swiftly thereafter. Party Astronauts secure the pistol, but they allow a bomb plant, which means that Nouns might go for the force buy. We'll have to wait and see. They could also save for a very solid rifle buy in the third of the half. Two different mindsets there. Looks like the save, though, is going to be the likely choice. Party Astronauts, a chance to build up some economy. Okay, never mind. Here comes the investment. Or will it? It's kind of all over the place. George is keeping money in the bank. He buys Kevlar. Okay, there's the Galil. 2 Galils, a Deagle, a Tech 9, and a Scout. Decent enough utility for a quick play. The question is, can they win the early duels? Wolfie at long flashed back. Both M4s were posted up here, actually. They'll both fall back to car. It's a rather worrying spot to hold, but at least they have the smoke to offer a bit of extra protection.
Wolfie spotted around that smoke. Junior takes the shot and connects it, but he also eats a lot of damage in his own right. The Galils are trying to get the kills, but nobody's finding any success at these ranges. Fang is crossing up, though, and I don't know if he's heard Carson jumping around. In comes the actual take, though, and George is the first casualty of the round. Infinite up close on sight. Fang's got this freebie onto Carson, too. Infinite 1-for-1 with Rush, but the damage tanked by Nouns is so significant. Party Astronaut should have this one down. The nade finishes off Rush before he can plant the bomb, which means no money for Nouns in the next round. The Junior will fight his way for one. There's damage on Wolfie and Sixy. Actually, this is technically winnable. It all comes down to essentially luck. He just spotted the player back big box, too. There's opportunities for Junior here. He just has to hit his shots and hit them quickly. But now that Ben's gone back towards Cat and Sixy is not expected anymore towards sight, that'll end the round, and we're all tied at 7.
Yes, we are. I was going to mention that rechamber time on the Scout's also brutal if he's stuck out in the open towards long. 7-7, though. We'll have to see if Party Astronauts struggle on the CT side as anticipated, given their dismal record on it. Famas, MP9, 3 M4s, Nouns, just 1 Hero Scout on Junior. He's actually buying quite low. We did see him go for these Scout buys more often than not. And instead of buying an op, he'd get a Scout once again in the rifle rounds. I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. He's pretty good with the weapon. He's quick with the movement. I feel like he plays more confident with it as well. Bulk of contact, though, going to be taken towards long. Wolfie's here at the doors in an off angle. He's alone as well with an M4. If he's felled while only finding 1 or 2, that's a pretty big upgrade for a Nouns player. They aren't forcing the issue. CJ just posted on an off angle. Rush behind him. Party Astronauts not keen on giving away an early duel.
Although Wolfie might just oblige here. He's peeking up towards long doors, flirting with the idea of going on through. Would almost assuredly lead to his death, and this flash might just do that anyway. But he's going to get the peek first and then spray down a second. The flash comes in far too late, and Wolfie still has a P250 to fight his way out with 1 more for Wolfie, and eventually he'll fall. That's 3 for the price of 1. And good work from the Party Astronauts Opper, as Fang's been heard and is now watched for by Junior, but the MP9 has the movement speed advantage, jumps up, and comes on down with the kill. A lead for Party Astronauts now on their CT side of things. This is something that statistically you wouldn't expect, but they're coming alive here. Here comes an actual test, though, with a buy coming through from Nouns. Rush will buy the op for Junior. Wolfie has 1 of his own, but Wolfie's actually had some decent success in the Operas on Dust2.
Yes, he has, and he's been pretty hot. Fiery hot at that. George off the spawn-based peak, though, is going to get the op to go towards long. Is the op here for Party Astronauts? Doesn't look like it. A lot of players committed, as you said, but they use a smoke to cross instead. Getting complete control. Nouns more than okay with falling back off that commitment of manpower. Even 5 versus 5 as Nouns get control of middle through lower tons.
Slower paced round from Nouns as they look to find an opening, but Party Astronauts are not keen to give them that. PA looking very solid on this defense right now. Nouns still not making a move, all milling about in middle. So they're running a draw on utility. Only a flash and a smoke left. 42 seconds to go. It's mostly going to come down to the dry fights for the CT side, for the T side, and there's not much utility left for the CTs either. Just triple the flashbangs and same amount of smokes, but overall, there's not much utility. It's all going to come down to fights. The smoke does go down for Nouns as they will look to move up Catwalk 60. A couple different angles to watch. We'll have to keep an eye on his backside long. Spotted out by Carson, who wins that first duel, and CJ follows it up onto Fang. Infinite now left in no man's land, alone and exposed and removed. It's a Nouns round for sure, as no damage has been suffered by the T side. The bomb goes down, and Wolfie and Ben have nothing to do with the rest of this round. We're back to a tie score line. Party Astronauts lead lasts for as short a time as it possibly could.
It's a very slow round from Nouns. A lot of thinking, a lot of slowly getting pieces in place. If they lost some of those dry duels, as you said, it could have gone against them. But instead, all the duels go their way. The wind is in their sails. They're rather keenly trying to hunt down these rifles as well because they know the CT economy isn't in the best of ways. It's going to be very hard to unseat Wolfie back here. He comes up, he misses the shot, but now he can stay crouched for the rest of the round. He and Ben will both live to fight another day. Nouns, though, a clean round on their full rifle buy builds up that T economy quickly.
It's growing. And an op tag onto Ben through mid as well. Does not do any better. Out towards long, Nouns will run. There's smoke down from both sides. DJ spots one before being blinded by a plethora of flashes thrown through. But the kill goes the way of Infinite and Party Astronauts, despite Fang being tagged down to 12 as well. 2 players in one-shot territory on the CT side. That's Ben and Fang, who now has the op from Wolfie. Not exactly a bad thing to give Wolfie the op, or to give Fang the op, though, because Wolfie's been very good on the rifle, and Fang has been struggling. Flash, and an op kill from Fang, actually. Ben does get dropped. 60's there for the trade. 2 players left standing for Nouns, and they are far removed from each other. One towards lower tunnels, where Infinite's creeping forward. Spots the head of Rush, but only gets the dink. The AK spray will convert the kill. And now it's becoming a little more costly for the Party Astronauts. They still hold a man advantage, although tentatively, given the health or lack thereof on Fang, who is then met by Junior, who wins that Opper's duel. And so now the bomb will make its long rotation all the way to A.
Could get cut off. It's on low HP.
It all depends on timing, though.
Everything's on timing. Wolfie might just have the perfect timing as well, slinking forward. Sees the shadow. That's the kill onto the low HP player. 30 seconds left and the bomb dropped. Means that Junior should be trying to save his op while getting that other one out of the map. Just leave it on the ground instead. 15 seconds left. It has to be over. Just trying to find a creative spot to save. 9-8. Party Astronauts re-ascertain tenuous lead.
Their lead hangs on by a thread. The lack of a bomb plant will hamper the T-side reinvestment.
Look at a buy.
Yeah, They won't get... Oh, they do get the op back. That's big for Party Astronauts. You get that back for Wolfie. Sixy and Wolfie having themselves a game. Infinite there as well. Ben and Fang, not as much. But you want your big three to be there for Party Astronauts. And as long as somebody's slotting in for that number 2 spot with either Sixy or Fang, they're good.
The issue right now is that Nouns have a solid buy still in spite of losing the round. It's full AKs, whereas Ben is stuck on an MP9. Fang, Shrine Catwalk needs to be careful here. Head spotted. No kills in either direction, and that nade pretty damaging onto George. Carson, though, out middle, not expected at all. Catches 60 in rotation. Smoke towards CT, and a quick B split now on the card. Still 2 players in defense, though, on the site. Wolfie caught rotating. Ben lead on the MP9, struggles, but sprays down 1. Can't double down, however. Last 2 are Infinite and Fang. They're both over towards A. One was Catwalk, now CT. And the other one is at Car, already cutting ties with the round. Back to even footing once more.
Fang and Infinite will attempt to save, and I don't think Nouns are going to probe for the hunt. They don't exactly have a lot of money to work with themselves. But this one keeps going back and forth. Nobody is able to consistently win rounds in a row. And it's just a war of attrition at this point, which also favors the T side. Nouns keeping it close into the later stages definitely favors them. Party Astronauts need 2-3 rounds in a row to really establish themselves again. And it is not exactly looking great. I would like a timeout from Party Astronauts into this round, particularly because they've only used 1. And also, this is an awkward buy situation. They can only use the 2 rifles, concede the lead. That's exactly what they're going to do. But something fun to this round would have been a good idea. Try to get something going with the rifles. One will actually run up middle. That's Infinite. He's continuing to go forward after dodging death with that op shot from Junior. The other rifle out long A. And Nouns are waiting for a push. Both teams playing to anti-strat the other, which is meaning nobody's seeing anything.
Been playing scared, slow. Both teams. I like the aggression early on, although it's a little bit worrying because if that rifle drops, then it's stuck in no man's land and not recoverable by a pistol player. Nouns finally decided to make a move. Pushing down mid, getting lower tons control. Clearing out those close angles we talked about earlier. $50 seconds left. Still not a clear direction. It's a lean towards A, but a very difficult hold set up and offered by Party Astronauts.
Sixty's going to hear Rush jumping up, making some noise. That footstep definitely heard and relayed. CJ getting toasted down low. Infinite will actually get 1, but he only gets 1 of the rifle. That is not enough. Wolfie does tack on another one. Now Fang can pop up and hit, and there's another! The rifles are holding their own. It's up to Rush, who's getting chunked down to nothing. Time is running out, and he'll die before it expires. But Party Astronauts, when they need a lifeline, when they need a refuel, a boost, something to get them to get to exit velocity, they find it. That double from Fang. His best round of the night, as far as impact is concerned. And Party Astronauts maintain the lead with nothing invested into that round. And Nouns playing too scared, a timeout called again. And this is the same Nouns we started to see last night against Wildcard Nate. Scared, trebacious.
Overly cautious. Too late in the take. Second tack pause rightly used here because their economy is nearing its end. And as we mentioned, they lost themselves that round. They didn't do their due diligence. They waited too long. And time got the best of them. 10-9. Party Astronauts have all the kit and caboodle because they won that half by round. Meanwhile, Nouns are compromising on a Galil for Carson. Op again out for both Wolfie and Junior, but Junior hasn't had too much to say on this T side. George, though, has, combining with the Op, catches one in middle. That's Fang caught. He's been bullied throughout this map. Nouns picking up the pace, but we wanted to see straight up catwalk is George, and he seizes the day with a second onto Infinite. Wolfie down below has to just buy time with utility and fall back. This is A site control taken now. A simple smoke for the cross is all they'll need. Party Astronauts might already be contemplating a save.
I think they will, given their economy. And that's exactly what they're going to have to do. We're going tie ball game again. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and Wolfie misses a critical shot, which could actually yield his death up to the Nouns at this point, if they wanted to go hunting. This is becoming a bit of a bare-knuckle brawl. It is. There's blood everywhere. Both parties just limping around. Oi, 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 oi. That fight. That peak. Too overzealous. And that's a critical gun gone out of the hands of the Party Astronauts, who are going to reinvest, but 3 saved guns, far better than 2. Utility, kits, residual economy, everything better if you keep that 3rd gun. That is a painful loss for Party Astronauts, and still nobody able to string 2 rounds in a row.
Nope, it's aggression towards the long for both teams, though. Fang in pit again. And they're in the smoke. CJ not expected. 60's quick on the trade. The manpower committed here. 60, doubling down. And Infinite trying to cross into the pit is caught in no man's land. Carson's Galil strikes yet again, and even more damage now onto 60, who's quite low. He deals some blows in return, but Carson bests him, doubling down as the IGL. Nouns secure a narrow advantage, 3 versus 2. Ben Leet rotating in to support the op of Wolfie. And Nouns know they don't have to commit here. Russia already back towards T-spawn. And Carson holding long doors as he dropped the op due to his low HP.
Slow, methodical, waiting out the Party Astronauts, sweating them out. But Wolfie is here. Will Rush use his flashbang for this peek? Junior tosses utility. Wolfie spots, hits the wallbang. Nade might actually do the job, too. It will indeed finish off Junior. Counter utility tossed in by Wolfie. But there's Molotovs at Gandalf and back. Double box. Ben, however, falls, leaving Wolfie in a 1v2. He cannot get by Rush. And finally, somebody strings 2 rounds in a row together. It's Nouns who take the lead back at the dying embers. And Party Astronauts on nothing at all. Pistols, unless they force in, but you're much better off playing for overtime down 2 than forcing in and basically securing you lose if you lose this pistol round.
It's a difficult call to make, but it is the right one. Save / half buy. See if you can't make lightning strike twice. This op of Junior again boosted up in towards under, though. Spots the one crossing close doors. Timing is against him. Lower Tons is spotted. Gets 60. Still succeeds with 1. And Fang seizes the day on catwalk with a 2nd. The call had to be there from Junior. I have no doubt.
I know.
Still caught looking.
Sometimes you're expecting a curveball and you get the heat. Blows right by him. Two for 1 trade, not bad at all for Party Astronauts. They can't recover the guns, which is unfortunate. But they still do have Wolfie up on catwalk. Smoke for CT. Fang will get spotted. He'll go for a drive-by and just back away. Nouns again, burning down the clock. They love to do this from what it seems now. Just in this mid-round. Let it stew. Let it simmer.
Can't let it boil over. You need to be very careful because now those guns have been picked up. Ben leading Infinite, pressuring in B at that perfect time as Nouns abandoned that location for long. And it's been read perfectly by PA. All 4 players are here, including the 2 rifles. Rush will get 1. That will compel Nouns to commit now. 20 seconds left or thereabouts. They need to get the bomb on site and quickly. Junior finds 1, Rush a second. The last alive is Fang at the off angle of barrels. Grain, as I guess you should call it now, and he finds nothing. What looked like a scary situation for Nouns is instead topped with ease as they secure map point on the second best of 1 on the night.
Well, last-ditch buy from the Party Astronauts as Nouns have a match point once again. They won the first map 13-10. They have a chance to do that again here on Dust 2 and solidify their spot at number 2 in the standings for this season of ECL. Utility being used by Rush out mid. Finding nothing so far. More utility being used up. Fang drops down. Rush peeks and as well joins Fang and not committing to anything up catwalk. Wolfie has the angle, but a very slow mid-round once more from Nouns as they get spotted out middle. They exchange spray, and George is the one who takes any damage. The utility for the CT side, though, very low. 6E dry fight 1 and 2. He gets away alive and tries to fight for the 3rd. He needs to be punished if you're Nouns. That can give a lifeline back in for Party Astronauts, and it's done just that. 6E a 3rd. Ben and Fang finding the others, and we go the distance to round 24. Party Astronauts knocking on the door of overtime with a flawless round victory. And Nouns, stuck in the mid-sand pit, get caught. And now they'll have to scrounge together what they can buy, and they'll use their 3rd and final timeout before this last round of regulation to try and secure this map victory.
Nouns rightly using their 3rd and final timeout, and it makes sense because we kind of have criticized them for this mid-round of sitting around and dilly-dallying, but if there's one thing that they should be prepared for in that kind of setup, it's a straight peek from 6E. Exactly like he did, and yet, as you mentioned, he goes unpunished. 2 and gets away, finds the 3rd over towards B after the fact. If you're going to sit and hold, make sure you hit your shots.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't get double peaked by one guy and not get a trade. You just can't let that happen. Doesn't matter if it's one of the better riflers in the region. You cannot allow that to happen. Nouns now watching their lead evaporate. Junior takes that shot. Doesn't get anything for it. We're back to a slower start. As Nouns into the mid-round begin their stall again. The utility for the CT side again starting to run dry, but it doesn't matter if you win dry fights like 6E. Although he's now much more defensive on the B side, mid completely abandoned. But Nouns again just holding for pushes, and Party Astronauts have not necessarily been golden to go for these pushes. They go for info peaks here and there, but not so aggressively that they're going to peek through long doors, that they're going to push all the way up catwalk, unless it's an early push.
They push for information, either a man down, or if it's like an eco round, that push upper tons comes to mind.
Yep. There's a plan behind the madness. It's not just every round they do it.
Yeah, and Nouns are banking on them just pushing willy-nilly. It's not going to happen. 6C in an off-angle middle. Ben Leet is right behind him up on the boxes. This looks to be a really solid hold for the CT side. Fang coming in CT now as well, ready for a quick trade. Ben, good for a trade, good for a double as well. Flash in now for Fang to swing. He gets one before being traded. 2 versus 2, and Rush has raced through B. Flash in, the op swings. Wolfie does find his counterpart before being felled. 8 seconds left. Rush has to commit to the plant, and Infinite will seize as much space as possible in the meanwhile. Slinking up to window, not expected at all. Rush should be dead to rights. Yes, he is. Party Astronauts somehow, some way come back into it, show us a very successful CT side, and now bring us to overtime on Dust2.
Massive double from Ben from boxes. 6C's there his first contact, he gets nothing, but his in-game leader is there to bail him out with 2. The fact that Wolfie gets 1 out of that mid push as well, critical. It's a completely different animal if Infinite has to 1v2 that. So a couple things work massively for Party Astronauts. A couple of players step up in big ways late. 6C has a huge part to play in this comeback by Party Astronauts. 24-17. Most kills on the server by 5. Wolfie next in line, tied with Rush at 19. And big moments require big players. 6C steps up big time. Junior 1 for 1. It's actually Rush to fall instead. George takes a lot of damage in that flash out scrim towards long A. Fang still sticking around too. Spots the Molotov. He's allowed to get forward. Good flash from 6C. And Fang will get a second, but he doesn't expect Junior back blue. And so we level out to a 3 versus 3. 6C takes some damage. And the bomb edges its way towards B side, where Ben has one of those ops. Party Astronauts elected to go for 2 in this overtime round number 1. First to 16 to win it now. As you can see on the screen just under the timer. Second overtime will be 19 if required. But this is where Party Astronauts start to push. Flash goes in, free kill for 6C, and then he'll just back away. It's this kind of peek kill back that works well for the Party Astronauts. He got the information, but he does not want to stick around to get caught by somebody else. And that maintains the advantage in manpower.
It does. Still that double op, as you mentioned, in play as well for Ben, Leet, and Wolfie. CJ and Junior both had a decent map. With 30 seconds left and not much control, I'm going to try to contact out middle for a B split. There's only one defender here. It's Ben Lee. But 6C, his reins have been loosened. He's now racing out top middle. Bomb is going to go in towards B. Ben Leet hears it. Sitting behind the box, he'll swing out, but misses the op shot. And he can't buy enough time to prevent the bomb plant, so 6C will have to clutch. Coming in lower tons, this timing might not be expected. He's here pretty quickly, but the Molotov gives him away, or at least prevents him from pressing. Peeking over top, he does damage to Junior. But without the kill outright, this should be far more difficult a prospect. Junior peeks on a timing, finds the kill, and Nouns secure a 13th.
6C couldn't do it all. And Party Astronauts crumble at the first hurdle in overtime 1. Ben will go back to the double op. They're doing double op again in MR3 12.5. That is an awful risk, Vader. Did better work. And Carson as well on the double. We're getting double ops on both sides. This is vintage Dust2, and Carson wins the fight. A blind 6C down. And Carson scales forward for more. There is a cross into pit, which should be expected. It is. And Carson takes him down as well. Fang read like a book. Wolfie around will finally trade. But it's far too little too late as Infinite caught with an aid in hand. And Ben out B doors, flashed away to try to hold. One big kill. Goes for more, but Rush shuts him down. Wolfie, 1 versus 3 with an op in hand. Smoke, flash in. A second flash high. He might even just save here. He'll go into tunnels for a free pick. All 3 Nouns, however, on the site and not trying to fight.
So you should consider the save at this point, given the fact that they committed to the double op twice, and they're pretty much guaranteed 0 for 2 at this point. Yes, he will back away. 14-12, Nouns. Want to end this one in the first bout of overtime. As you mentioned, 16 is the lucky number. 15-12 start would go a long way in securing that. Rush racing out long, looking for this player. Spots Wolfie, but doesn't get the kill. Wolfie escapes by the narrowest of margins to keep the op in play. Fang again goes for the double op setup. This is a lot of commitment from the CT side.
It was the CT side that began the comeback for Party Astronauts, but now it's collapsing. Ben caught by Junior. Fang has an op in his own hands, and the smoke will bloom in his face. Not allow him to finish off George. 60 taken down to 6 HP as well as he tried to push into lower tunnels. Finished off by Rush. 2 early picks for Nouns, and that was not supposed to go there for Carson, but he'll audible off of that and work up Cat instead. Fang try to group up with Wolfie as Nouns elect to wait for a push. Infinite has to solo hold B now, but things are looking bleak for the Party Astronauts. They were flying high 2 in a row to take it to OT, and then things have turned for the worst.
Rather solid rounds from Nouns as well. Decided rather quickly.
Good openings.
They're going to group for a B hit again. Infinite's the only defender. As you mentioned, he'll throw the Molotov off of timing. That won't dissuade them from going for this B hit. Carson's just spotting to cut off rotations. Here comes the force. Infinite pre-firing 1. Damage onto a second, but not a kill. Wolfie shotgun opping bottom middle. Does find a trade. 2 versus 3, though, for 2 ops on Fang and Wolfie's. Easier said than done. Wolfie smokes out. Tries to spam the door out of desperation. George is there, but far further back. Fang racing in, baits the shot, but can't get the kill. George finds that instead. Wolfie, the Molotov betrays his position, and he will be caught by the op of Junior on back of Plat. A clean T-side in overtime for Nouns. They only need 1 more on this CT side, 1 more out of 3, might I add, to close this map out.
A flawless half in overtime is the ideal situation. You only need to win 1 in that second half to close the deal. It's a double op again from the Party Astronauts. Okay, 60 has a long spawn. They're going to go with it. Carson and Junior have the double ops for Nouns. Carson did a really good job in the last half of overtime, but Wolfie starts it off with that opening pick. So much as we saw Nouns getting things going early, so does Party Astronauts, and out long, Junior's op removed as well. Both ops striking for 1 for the PA squad. Infinite cleared out, though, by Carson. Good peek into upper tunnels to bring some stability back for Nouns. That nade well placed with the flash, even better. So George can't get anything done. The flames will force him away as well. As the ace under the firm control of Party Astronauts, Fang finds George too, leaving it down to Carson and Rush, who may even elect to save the op here. There's not much chance of a retake, and now that 60's found Carson through the smoke, it is definitely save time.
Yes, it is. They're already hunting him down, though. No, he's probably keen on saving an op. Rush, though, gets a pair. He'll pick up an op, and he'll actually go forward. AK in hand. He's looking for more. He's looking for blood. He's looking for the round. Racing straight up towards ramp, though. Time is of the essence. He'll race onto site. Player Gandalf is Ben Leet. He will seal Rush's fate. 13-15. But I like the quick pivot from Rush off the back of the double in committing towards the retake.
So the double op works wonders for Party Astronauts. Nouns will elect to not try it this time, as only Junior will hold a big green gun. The shot from Wolfie will not find a mark through the doors, and Fang has it this time, and George is the victim out long. So the op, the secondary op from Party Astronauts, finding kills 2 rounds in a row. Fang has left that in spawn. They have the money to go for it, actually. They could just use that for that 1 pick and then not touch it again. That's a good call, because having 4 rifles in the op gives them a lot more freedom to work with on this T side. And you give 60 more abilities with the AK. I like that call a lot.
With the shots he's been hitting, give him an AK, give him that extra flexibility.
Yeah, I like the spawn-based play from the round prior, but I do like how they don't go back to it.
Straight commitment towards B early as well. No pontificating from party astronauts. All 5 walking towards tons. There'll be a smoke over top of tunnels for the B hit. Carson's going to throw his Molotov and try to hold on for dear life as the take comes through. He's the only player here. He'll find the first. He'll find a second and tag a third down quite low. Ben finally does him in. But Carson's given his team a mighty opportunity to pull off this retake, especially with that shot from Junior. 3 versus 2. Fang on low HP. Ben gonna have to do a lot of the lifting to keep party astronauts alive. And Junior with the op finds him in the meanwhile. Fang a 1v3. Found 1, found 2, but he won't find 3. CJ gets the trade, and CJ will get the defuse. It was a long and bitter battle, but a battle won by Nouns, 16-13.
Yeah, it seems it really did come down to just comfort on the map, Nate. And party astronauts don't like Dust2. Their record shows that. And when it came down to the nitty-gritty, when it came down to overtime, when everything's been exhausted strap-wise, there's no fresh ideas. They just collapsed in the end. A couple of good rounds there. I mean, that last round could have